I primarily bench press with a pause and would definitely recommend this to most lifters. Here's the thing. It allows you to stay more tight, which is of extreme importance when talking about the bench. If you're misgrooving the weights due to momentum, or hell, if you're bouncing weights in general, that is not a good thing for your strength development and injury prevention. But the main thing is not getting snapped up. And if you're maxing out on a frequent basis, or at least going very heavy, you're doing lots of volume work, form breakdown can easily occur when you're doing touch and go reps. That's just how it is. You can shift side to side. You can lose some of that tightness and you can start doing some bouncy reps, which is not helping anyone. Progressively getting more bouncy, if that makes sense. Whereas the pause, yes, the stretch reflex still remains. Yes, it's an undeniable fact that touch and go will automatically raise your pause. And yes, it's not necessary. It's completely optional. But I still advise it because everything is locked in. Now, you don't have to pause forever. It doesn't have to be more than 2 seconds. It could be 1 or 2 or even half a second. Or you're just halting it at the chest very quickly. You're good to go. This will humble most lifters while providing a consistent movement pattern. I do believe it's the way to go, whether your goals are strength training or bodybuilding. And that'll bring me on to my next point, the gains that you get from this. Have you ever seen an elite raw bencher that had tiny pecs? It really doesn't happen for the most part. There are exceptions. You got some outliers, but that doesn't represent the average individual. If you can pause bench 3 plates for reps, you're gonna have some watermelons popping out, and that's real talk. Instead of wasting your time with all these dumbbell flies, emphasize the pause bench and you'll realize how beneficial it really is. You'll understand why your chest has been struggling for all this time from benching. And you're re-exploding from the most difficult part of the exercise, which builds amazing reversal strength and really corrects that bottom weakness, which is the most common problem for the vast majority of benchers. So I don't even care if you have a lockout issue, you can never go wrong on having more bottom work. And you might as well bench in a way that maximizes that. I don't care what variation it is. Pause your incline, pause your flat. You'll get superior pec gains and your shoulders and tries will not suffer from it. Besides, there's other movements you can do that lend themselves better towards touch and go. Like dumbbell pressing or even weighted dips, you're getting an immense stretch in the pecs right there. So you don't have to pause for that. But for standard benching, maxing out, doing lots of volume work, in my opinion, it's in your best interest to do the full range of motion, halt there for a brief moment, explode back up. This is how gym bros are really gonna get a big chest, and it's just gonna cut out the ego completely. And that'll bring me on to my next point, the fact that beyond the whole pec thing, you are getting more out of less weight. Your pause bench will typically be around 30 pounds less than your touch and go. That is extremely realistic for most lifters. It could be a little bit less, it could be a little bit higher, it all depends. But I'm gonna say 30 is a really common average. And that's a great thing. It means that you're maximizing your stimulus to fatigue while not having a terrible risk to reward ratio. It's the complete opposite. Low risk, high reward, high as fuck stimulus. So why would you not pause bench if you're gonna get better recovery, better pec gains without suffering in the shoulders and tries, and arguably getting better strength gains in the process while remaining injury free? It's win-win in every possible way. Plus, it's the official way of testing your bench. That's what you would do in a competition. When I did my 2 bench meets, I wasn't bouncing weights off my chest. I had no choice but to pause. And if I were to do touch and go, it wouldn't count. Now you can say, well, I'm not a fucking powerlifter. I don't give a shit. Well, if you ever decide to compete, at least you got the base down. At least you know how to do the goddamn exercise. And at least you can compare yourself to other people who are doing the exact same style. Whereas touch and go is hard to compare. You got 2 guys doing a 4 or 5 touch and go bench, the form could look completely different. One guy could be bouncing it completely. One dude, it could be a light touch and go. So it's a standardized way of judging, which is fantastic for anyone who's making videos online or comparing their strength with their peers or just having friendly competition and all that. And it's a method that provides crazy gains from benching specifically. So I would strongly recommend it. I almost exclusively bench with a pause. My accessories, I might do some touch and go. I think it makes a little bit more sense on the overhead press and some of the exercises I talked about before. And of course, you can throw in some waves doing touch and go. And like I said, the pausing is optional. But when you look at what I said in today's video, the fact that it's all holistic and there's so many benefits, it's like, why would you not do this? So that's been my experience, bro. I've done both for long periods of time. I've done exclusively waves of touch and go, exclusively waves of pause. And I can tell you that the pause was a superior choice. If I can go back in time, that's what I would have done primarily. And I do feel like my size and strength improved way more when I primarily did the pauses. So that's my experience with it. Let me know if you disagree. Let me know if you're like, Alex, I don't do pause. I just do touch and go and everything's fine. Let's hear it. And that's it. I'll talk to you on the next video.